say something. I want to make sure the mic levels are okay.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I think we did it. We're recording audio. We're recording video. We're here. We're getting better.
Woo!
We're learning.
We are learning.
Okay. So, we are now live recording episode 124. That's still a little bit crazy.
Been here a minute.
We certainly have. A little bit over a year now, which is still also crazy. 2 years. Yeah, that's dumb. But without further ado,
Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, I'm K-Cube, I'm here on the left, and on the right, I got Red. How's it going?
It's going good. Good to be back.
Man, nice little break there with a couple of interview episodes and some other stuff going on, but we are back, and the off-season of giving continues to give.
Yeah, it's given all right. This is the longest I think my notes have ever been for Ross, which we'll get to later this episode. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But I believe the first thing we got is College Rocket League.
It is indeed. So we were gonna in today's episode we'll talk about the CRL Nationals. We'll talk about Arm the Rebels, the 2v2 tournament that's happening this weekend, as it has a little bit more impact on kind of the 3v3 circuit because it is 2v2 and this is what the pros play. We'll also be talking about quite a lot of roster rumors to get through. So because Arm the Rebels 2v2, as we are recording this, if you're joining us live, you'll know. If you're not, then the matches are still happening right now. So I'm hopeful that as we continue on, we'll know the winner of that. Right now, they're finishing up the second semifinal. So a team is looking for the rights to play First Killer LJ. So we will.
Oh boy!
Oh man, it could be Daniel Beast Mode. It might not be Daniel Beast Mode, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. We will talk about that more as we go along. But that'll be towards the end before the roster rumors. But without further ado, you ready to jump into CRL?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. So for people who did not watch our last two episodes, do not know, this weekend coming up on the 16th and 17th is the online CRL Nationals. So the national championship will be, it's a top 8 single elimination. All matches are best of 7. And our top 8 schools are Northwood Blue, Hockey Zenil Creams. We have Concord University, which is Helix, CMOS, and Crispy. Maryville with Knight, Speed, Relating Wave. Akron Blue with Patty, Bullseye, 5-Up. We got Ball State University with Oath, Guh, and Wova. In St. Clair Green, we got Jazzy, Fabso, and Pizzy. And Davenport Black, we got Brock, Cam, and Bolte. And last but certainly not least, we have West Virginia with Angel, Tool, and Daunt. So what are your thoughts thus far on the teams that did make the Nationals, and what are you expecting?
I mean, I don't think there's any doubts or confusion in anyone's mind on who made the top 8, right? This all is gone to plan from what we've seen so far. These are truly the best teams in College Rocket League at this point. And you got quite a few of the open winners here, at least in the top 4. Almost all top 4, I think, from every open made top 8. So we're gonna see some hopefully good championship form rosters. But again, yeah, so far as expected, the teams that were supposed to make it made it.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of the usual suspects, like Northwood, been there, done that before. Akron, we've seen them, at the heights of CRL, but we got some newcomers this year. Maryville after signing their 2/3 import roster. St. Clair after bringing in an import roster. As we start to see more and more EU players take over CRL. So certainly will be interesting to see what happens. But in the first round, we'll do our top 4 predictions this way. In the first round, we have Northwood Blue taking on Ball State. Who do you have in this one, and is it really that difficult of a prediction?
It is not. I would love it to be a little more difficult, but I don't see how Northwood loses. Ball State did their best. They made multiple top 4s. I believe multiple top 4s actually. Let me check. I might be lying. They made top 4 in Open 2. That was it. Otherwise, they've been continuing with top 8s from the Opens. So it would make sense for this Northwood team to win out there. I could see Ball State maybe getting a game off of them. Otherwise, it's a Northwood domination.
I would tend to agree on that one. Next, we have Akron Blue and West Virginia.
For this one, gotta go Akron. They did win one of the Opens, and they have been looking good. Not to knock on West Virginia, but they, again, similar situation to Ball State. They've made those top 8s in the Opens, but just don't quite have what it takes to get that edge on those top 4 teams. Yeah,
I would tend to agree. I mean, I think Daunt, Angel, and Tool is a fantastic roster. I think that they can compete with any of these schools. It's just going to be, some of the consistency issues. We've certainly seen them peak and win events before. We've certainly seen them, be greater than the sum of their parts, so to speak. But, can they be consistent enough in a weekend to beat an Akron, to beat a Concord, to beat, these top three schools consistently? So for that reason, I'm taking Akron. I think that the talent is there with 5-Up and Patty and Bullseye, and I just think that they're the better team here. In our third quarterfinal, we have Concord University and St. Clair Saints Green. What are your thoughts on that one?
I gotta go Concord. I usually have been a pretty big St. Clair stan in recognizing that they usually have fantastic teams. That may have been the old days of CRL, but nowadays they've been just knocking on that door a lot with these other teams of making it into that top 4. I do see Concord, however, knocking them off purely just because Concord has had the results to back it up. They've placed top 4 in every Open, even winning Open 2. So they have the results to back up their playing. Would definitely see them. I could see this being a close series, but I just don't see Concord losing here.
Neither do I. And, that kind of seems to be the overall theme here as we continue on to our last quarterfinal match of Maryville-Davenport, which, again, I think is a lot of the same story. Davenport's a good team. They made top 8. They're just not as good as Maryville. And Maryville's won events. They've been very close multiple other times. I think that their roster is just too good to lose here. I think that they beat Davenport and run into the top 4 pretty easily. I think the closest match of this series might be Akron, West Virginia, but even still, I think that it's pretty easy to pick the winner of Maryville Davenport, just like the rest of them.
Completely agree.
So for those following along at home at the brackets, we have Northwood, Akron, Concord, and Maryville. So then, going from there, we can continue to do this because it's pretty easy. Northwood Blue and Akron Blue. Who do you got?
I have Northwood beating Akron. I know they have faced each other multiple times before, and I've actually the last time this matchup occurred, we had I believe Akron coming out on top in Open 3. They knocked off Northwood to win Open 3. However, I do think Northwood is the better team at the end of the day and will come out with a win.
I think so too. I think that they, the RLCS caliber talent that they have, I think will shine through. I think that their consistency will be there, and I think that they are just too much for Akron to handle here. And I think that they will set themselves up for a date in the grand finals. In the second semifinal, we have Concord University and Maryville. I can go first on this one. I have Maryville winning. I think that again, the RLCS caliber experience of Speed and Relating Wave, I think that they have the edge here. I think also EU Rocket League tends to be on, at least recently, better than NA, and Speed and Relating Wave have been competing there for longer than they've been competing in NA, and a lot of players that have come over have found some success. I think this is no different.
I completely agree. I got Maryville coming out on top here. They have shown that they are the more consistent team this season, and I do believe they have what it takes to make it to the grand finals, and also give Akron a run for their money, which is, I believe, our only thing we disagree on in these predictions is this finals matchup. So, KQ, who do you got winning it all, winning the first CRL National Championship in this format?
In the Blast era, I got Maryville. I would love to see like a Concord or a Concord win it, or somebody other than a Northwood or Maryville, but I think it's Maryville for the same reasons I said before. I think Speed, Relating Wave are fantastic. I think that Knight is a good addition to that team for them. I think they just have too much talent to be stopped here.
However, I have Northwood taking this. Little bias here just from the CRL Old Guard. Akron is a well-known name within the CRL community.
Northwood.
Sorry, not Akron. Northwood. Apologies.
You're good. I got you.
But Northwood, they've been a long stay. If you ever heard of, if you were ever competing in CRL or any form of College Rocket League and you saw Northwood on your schedule, you always kind of knew, well, this is gonna suck. So I got Northwood going out on top. I think it's gonna be a close series. I could see this definitely going to a Game 7, but I do got Northwood taking it.
Okay. Well, so then our top fours are the same: Northwood, Akron, Concord, Maryville, and you have Northwood winning. I have Maryville winning. So we'll be very interested to see what happens this weekend as the matches continue. But there's not much left for us to say. We've talked about CRL a lot. Just happy to have it back. Happy to see all these teams competing again. Anything else you want to add on CRL before we jump over to FIFA E?
I've had my gripes about the format, but I am excited to see these playoffs because it truly is the best of the best in CRL, and hopefully we get some good matches.
I certainly hope so too. I also hope to see a CRL Nationals back again. I think that or Internationals, sorry, like World Championship for CRL. I think that'd be fantastic to see. So we'll have to wait for that. So this will have to do in the meantime. Okay, now. How do I put that? If we got FIFA E rosters.
World Cup rosters have been announced and fully released. And let me tell you, there are some very interesting teams this season. Or it's this World Cup.
There certainly are.
I will go ahead and take it away. So, in no particular order, these are your rosters for the FIFA E World Cup, its inaugural season. Representing Australia, you have the roster of Gus, Torsos, and Fever.
So did you also, before you jump on and we pass over Australia, I have to acknowledge some of the controversy from the FIFA E World Cup. Did you hear all the stuff that went down with the Australian roster?
I did not.
So they were originally going to do an open qualifier or closed qualifier, whatever you want to say. Like, they were going to allow teams to enter and compete to have the spot. A lot of OCE teams made roster moves and were scrimming a lot in the offseason for this tournament. The manager for Australia or the tournament organizer or however you want to put it, but the manager for their region missed the deadline and could no longer do a closed/open invite qualifier thing. And so he just picked a team because they missed the deadline. And so all of these teams that have been scrimming and making roster moves purely to try and represent Australia for the FIFA E World Cup did not get to do that. He just made a pick. And like CJ talked about it on the Chalkcast, he's like, I'll host it. I'll host the unofficial tournament. I don't care. It would take one weekend, like not even, like a day. Just do like 4 or 5 teams because that's all you really need. Like 4 teams, that's all you need. The winner of that gets picked. And to my knowledge, that is not what happened. They just got picked.
Good Lord. That is terrible to hear. I Although I'm not surprised by the roster that's picked. I'm not, this is would it be arguably one of the teams that would have been in that contention for that spot. But the way it is, the mismanagement from the Australian side is not a great thing to see, especially with this being the first time ever of like this FIFA E World Cup. So not great from Australia. Hopefully, we'll see some better things to come from the country there.
Yeah, we also still, to my knowledge, don't know when this is happening.
We do.
Oh, they announced the dates. Okay.
We have dates. At least going off the Wikipedia page, we do have dates.
You are correct. Okay, I missed that one. That's my fault. That's December 5th through the December 8th. So that will be, to my knowledge, the Thursday through Sunday of the first weekend in December.
That does sound correct.
I just pulled up the calendar. I had to double check that. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Okay. So sorry. Let's continue on with the rosters. I had to mention that in there because I felt that was important for the viewers to know that this has been kind of a little bit of a chalked tournament build-up roster type issue.
Yeah. All right, moving on with rosters. Representing Saudi Arabia, we're not really much of a surprise here. TRK, Roas, and Clears. The Team Falcons roster will continue to represent their country. Next, we have Morocco. Itachi, Nas, and Drali will be representing the country Morocco. Again, also not really much of a surprise here, as it was kind of assumed this would be the team.
I also don't know any others.
Fair point.
Sorry, not sorry.
Next, representing South Africa, we have the Team Limitless roster of To Die For, Snowy, and Sweaty. Again, not a shocker. These were some of the first announced rosters just because it was pretty well assumed on who it was going to be. Next, this is where we get a little controversial here, a little interested. The United States of America. The players representing the country will be Daniel, Atomic, and First Killer. Now, if you haven't been looking on Twitter at all, the reason Beast Mode was not included in this team was because he's currently building a house. So, understandable that he couldn't participate. Be interested to see how this new trio works out. I am excited to see what kind of plays these guys can make. Go USA. Anyways, moving on, we have the roster of for Argentina being AJG, Misery, and Unbroken. I'm just going to start kind of going through these a little quicker. Brazil, we have Drafinho, Yan, and Lost. Not a shocker there. Team Furia representing the country again. For Chile, we have Racebull, Pan, and Davitrox. For the country of Belgium, we have Atau, Compact, and Astral. For England, the Queen's country, we have Rise, Joyo, and Archie. Not much of a surprise there. Some of the more prominent English members of Rocket League. Honorable mention Appjack, but maybe he truly is an A now. Next, we have France, aka Team Vitality, plus Vatira, which is just terrifying. So Zen, Vatira, and Monkey Moon.
And the whiteboard himself.
And the whiteboard himself, Coach Farah, terrified of this roster. Just wait until you hear about the groups. Next, we have Germany, which is Tox, Rizex, and Raziers. Solid roster there. Netherlands being Oli, Joryus, and Mike Boy. Portugal being Rafa, Beyonder, and Vadi. Spain being CRR, Stizzy, and Atomic. Turkey being, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, but it's a Gokbrate, Lorley, and Jism.
Is there a pronunciation guide? Maybe there is.
There might be. I don't know. Hopefully. And
no, there's not.
Round out the darn, and that will round out the rosters for the World Cup. And then quickly to fall, the the groups for this have been announced, and good lord, it's going to be a bloodbath for one group in particular. So Group A, the countries that will be competing are Australia, England, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, and Spain. And in Group B, which in my opinion is truly the group of death, Argentina, USA, Portugal, France, Turkey, Chile, Morocco, and Brazil. So, first things first, what teams stand out to you for this World Cup, KQ?
It's hard not to say France.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. Hard not to say the U.S. just because of Daniel Atomic and would be beast mode, but first killer. I mean that totally makes sense. Not hard to say Brazil either, as that's a full team. They already have the chemistry. They've already done things. Morocco, just because Drali and Itachi have been performing so highly recently, and Nas is kind of stepped into the fray as looking to join one of these elite, potentially even EU rosters. And then last, I think maybe with, kind of an outside chance, I think I like England and Belgium. I think that they both, have looked pretty good at Rise and Joyo, have that Team Queso moist chemistry, and Archie, certainly joining them. This could be a roster for RLCS in the coming season. I think it might be. And I'm still a big Astral fan. I think that Atau playing with Astral, I think that's a good combination.
Yeah, I mean, all great points. Again, France is terrifying. We're not really surprised, though. We knew this team was going to be a juggernaut for this World Cup. I am actually truly excited to see how this USA team works with First Killer, just because we haven't really seen these players ever team together. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works there. Morocco should be good. Yeah, I mean, Group B, moving on to my next point here, which group is tougher? Hands down, it's got to be Group B, in my opinion. Group A has their merits with the teams, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Spain, England, but having USA, France, Morocco, and Brazil in the same group is insane. Some of the most powerhouse teams that could compete in RLCS are now in the same group. Speaking of these groups, quick update on how these group stages are going to work. They are happening December 5th and 6th. It will be a double round robin. I believe that means you play every team twice.
So every team will play every team twice, but it's a best of 2.
Yes, that is correct. A BO2. They are wanting to change the format similar to actual soccer or football for those across the pond. The point system, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss. Yes, there is now officially a way to draw in Rocket League. Didn't think it would ever happen. We're here now.
So for people that are still confused, if you go 2-0, you get 3 points. If you go 1-1, you get 1 point, and if you go 0-2, you get 0 points.
Correct.
Look at the math. Also, I want to add that Spain Atomic with a K, Spain Atomic, EU Atomic, CRR, and Stizzy also played recently in the KCX4 Forever Rivals show match against Carmine Corps. And that went to Game 7. And that was the roster of Atomic, CRR, and Stizzy playing against Fatira, Atau, and Drali. So against the Carmine Corp roster, Movistar Koi, or Atomic, CRR, and Stizzy, Spain's roster, took Carmine Corps to Game 7. They were actually on match point after Game 5 and lost Game 6 and Game 7. So I just would like that to be known that they have every opportunity in the world to perform really well.
That's fair. With the group stage there, though, top 4 per group advance to playoffs. I'm sure some early predictions to be made here if we wanted to. Group B, USA, France, Morocco, Brazil, easily a top 4 the prediction that could be made there. Group A, I'm thinking England, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and then that last spot. Well, actually, the Group A is a little tougher to predict, just because you have a bunch of teams that will probably be competitive with each other. Germany, Belgium, Spain, Netherlands. All 4 of those teams could really compete against each other. So I think there's an easy to say top 2 or 3, but that 4th spot's going to definitely be up for grabs. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm also really confused as to why there's no Acronic for Portugal.
That is a fair question.
And why Exper is not the coach.
Expert. That is true. I'm not sure because I did note Expert in my roster rumors, but that is for something completely different.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I mean, hey, I'm not the manager. I don't, pretend to know, potentially as much as some of these people, but also maybe I do know more than them. Who knows? I'm not really sure how they pick the managers or, who behind the scenes is going on. I'm not even sure if they list them anywhere. So, because I don't, Portugal did do a qualifier. Now that I'm looking at it,
they do. Some teams do list coaches.
X pair played with Big Brother Algarve, so he was a player and not a coach for this one. And it looks like a Chronic did not enter the qualifier. Interesting. Okay. Hey, like we said, I don't pretend to know these rosters as well as some of the RLCS ones, but I am certainly beyond excited for this to happen. I know what I will be doing that weekend.
I really hope they make jerseys or something because I want a USA Rocket League jersey so bad. They please give it to me. I will wear my normal North USA jersey for soccer, but I need one for Rocket League. Please
inject that directly into my veins.
I will insert credit card slam desk meme. I need it.
Fair.
All right, and then for playoffs, obviously top 4 per group advance to playoffs, and then playoffs will be December 7th and the 8th. It'll be a single elim bracket. I imagine all the quarterfinal matches will be on the 7th, with the semis and the finals being on the 8th. They are all BO7 matches. So gonna see a lot of Rocket League that week. Super excited for it. Been dying to see some competitive Rocket League. Just gotta wait 3 more weeks.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we have Club Dubs, we have Arm the Rebels, we have Salt Mine potentially coming up soon. So there's a lot, or it is coming up. So there's a lot of off-season tournaments to kind of tide you over until the FIFA World Cup, and then once FIFA is over, you got pretty much a month until RLCS is back. So not a whole lot of time, not a whole lot of downtime for some of these players. But also, I would like to mention that we will tweet out or retweet the link to the World Cup prediction spreadsheet. Make sure that everybody who wants to have access to that will have access to that. So that is something that we will be either retweeting or tweeting out ourselves. Anything else that you wanted to add on FIFA E or anything like that before we move over to the Arm the Rebels 5 2v2?
No, I think excited to see how these teams compete, especially since not all of them are fully fleshed out RLCS teams. So curious to see the chemistry and play styles that come out of it.
Yeah, I am very intrigued to see how much prior chemistry plays into effect, and how some of these teams can pop off when the pressure's on. Well,
alrighty.
Arm the Rebels 2v2 the grand finals are currently happening right now. We are in game 2 between First Killer LJ and Daniel Beast Mode. So we will work our way towards the grand finals here, and we will keep everyone posted on that. As we've done this a couple of times now, where we've recorded where our recording session does not line up exactly with the Rocket League that's happening. So we will do our best, and maybe at the end we will update everyone with who won and all of that stuff. But this is a little bit of an interesting format, interesting tournament style. We don't see a lot of 2v2 tournaments, mostly 1v1 and 3v3. I will, we'll go through the results, but what rosters, or I guess teams or duos, stood out to you before the event started? Who are you excited to see play?
I mean, the ones that stood out before results started coming in, obviously First Killer LJ, the Profane duo for 2025. Daniel Beast Mode, obviously, the pair that's gonna, it seems like, stick together forever in Rocket League. Are the two big ones. Chronic and Reynolds were in there. That was an interesting duo I wasn't really expecting, with Cheese and Magic Bear pairing up. And then the old CRL duo of Lion Blaze and Zennial. Parth and Two Piece trying to rep Shopify Rebellion. So a lot of good pairings. Some expected, some not. So it was very interesting to see, how the results turned out.
For sure. Speaking of results, we have First Killer LJ sweeping Eris and Eris, ERIS and ARIS. That's not confusing. We have Parth and Two Piece sweeping Lion Blaze and Zennial. We have Talk and Tricky taking down Cheese and Magic Bear. We have JNaps and Aqua taking down Chronic and Reddles. We have Daniel Beast Mode sweeping Rhyolite and Fearless. We have Scribbles and Reveal with a forfeit win over Wisty and Swift, which are two Brazilian players. Swift playing for Ninjas in Pajamas, so I'm not sure if they had ping issues or what happened there. We have Wavy Gyro taking down Panda and Justin 3-1, and we have Frosty and Koifer taking down Diaz and CRR 3-1. So, any surprises for you in this first round, or did it kind of go as expected?
I would say a big surprise, JNaps and Aqua coming out with the win there. Not very well known twos players there, so surprising to see them knock off Chronic and Reddles, who were, I'd say, arguably are the more mechanical of the match there. Cheese and Magic Bear falling to Talk and Tricky, also a bit of a surprise there. Otherwise, the rest of these results, everything kind of makes sense there.
Yeah, and
nothing too surprising.
Notably, we have seen in tryout rumors that JNaps and Aqua potentially could be teaming for the upcoming season. So, maybe that's something that we see more of as we continue on. But in the quarterfinals, we have First Killer LJ sweeping Parth and Two Piece, continuing on their war path here. We have JNaps Aqua beating Talk and Tricky 3-2. We have Daniel Beast Mode taking down Scribbles and Reveal 3-2. And we have Frosty Koifer taking down Wavy Gyro 3-1 to set up a final four of First Killer LJ versus JNaps and Aqua, and Daniel Beast Mode versus Frosty and Koifer. So, any surprises here, or?
Again, I mean, JNaps Aqua kind of proving me wrong here with what I thought would be the results. Knocking off Talk and Tricky, who are not a pushover by any means when it comes to 2v2s. Also, a shout out to Scribbles and Reveal taking Daniel and Beast Mode to 5. I did end up watching that series. Daniel and Beast Mode, or Dan Mode, as some people like to call it at this point, did take the first two games, and Scribbles Reveal almost pulled off the reverse sweep. So pretty crazy to see that happen. Otherwise, everything else, again, pretty self-explanatory. First Killer LJ, understatement that it's a warpath. I mean, it's a bloodbath. It's a slaughter. They are just rinsing their way to the semis, and then into what is going to be the finals.
Yeah. So a little bit of a spoiler there, even though it's not a spoiler because the matches have been happening. First Killer LJ or FKLJ sweep JNaps and Aqua, and Daniel Beast Mode beat Frosty and Koifer 3-1.
Yep, no big surprises there. I think anyone would have predicted that it was going to be these two teams facing off in the finals. And then right now in the finals, First Killer LJ did take game one, as we were talking. However, Dan and Beast Mode are currently winning game two with 30 seconds left, as a 1-goal 3-2 for Dan and Beast Mode. So they will most likely take game two unless something crazy happens here by LJ.
Yeah, so I mean, the only reason that Daniel Beast Mode and First Killer LJ wouldn't play each other in grand finals was going to be if they grouped, like if they caught each other earlier in the bracket. That being said, Daniel Beast Mode just took game two, so the series is 1-1, best of 5. So we will continue to keep you updated as we continue to push through our agenda here. But I think certainly this is probably the best outcome you could have expected. I think First Killer LJ and Daniel Beast Mode are the two best twos teams that were either invited or made this event. So, I'm glad that we get to see it, and I'm kind of glad that it's in the grand finals and not like a quarterfinal matchup or something like that. So,
Completely agree. All right. With that being said, I believe it is time for KQ. It's time for you to hit the button.
It is time to hit the button. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Woo! All right.
Still a bop every time. Oh. I might have died. I did die.
He did die.
I'm back. We're
Right,
back.
I was about to start. Damn it.
We're back.
Cliffhanger. Tune in next week. Now to play. So we got a lot to cover. I'm gonna just get right into it. We got a lot to cover here. First things first. This one hurts. As many of the longtime listeners know, I am a hardcore G2 fan, and G2 has announced that they are officially stepping away from North American Rocket League and have released their roster. Now, was this the end for G2? We aren't quite sure. They were initially rumored to be going to EU with a potential sponsor or sponsor over there and acquire the EU roster of Itachi, Oski, and Nas. Spoiler, that's going to be a trio this season. However, it appears at this time that they are fully leaving the scene. G2, a long-standing veteran of the league, of the pro scene. It really sucks to see them go. They were, they won the very first major I went to, and they were the team I cheered for when I first got into the scene. So it hurts to see them leave. And I gotta find a new team to cheer for now, which you'll hear more about that here later. As NRG, another long-standing veteran. Don't worry, they're not leaving. In fact, they're doing something even better. They are focused on and are on the path to acquiring the former G2 roster of Daniel, Beast Mode Atomic, and Coach Sathu. However, they are still just in talks. They are on the path, nothing confirmed. The ex-G2 roster is also in talks with other orgs as well. If this acquisition was to fall through for NRG, they would most likely go back or shift their focus back to the roster of LJ, Chronic, and First Killer. Yeah, absolute doozy to start with. G2 leaving the scene, it was very heartfelt. They had a very, very nice exit video that they posted on their Twitter, and it looks like we're going to be an NRG fan because I'm just going to follow that team since that was the last remnants of G2. At the end of the day, a bit G2 fan, but can't cheer for an org that's no longer in Rocket League. Moving on, as it was stated with the news about NRG, First Kill and LJ are teaming with Chronic for this season. Their coach will be Sad Jr. So nice to see another longstanding vet still in the league, still coaching. That roster is going to be a monster of a team this season, most likely. It's still orgless. I'm sure that won't last very long. Moving on. Speaking of orgs, T1, rumored to be pursuing a roster in RLCS, has officially ended their pursuit. All talks with rosters have fallen through, and they have decided they will not be fielding a team for the 2025 season. That sucks. T1, a very prestigious organization within the League of Legends scene, and a lot of other esports. They have a lot of capital that could have been brought into the RLCS environment, so it's unfortunate to see them not commit. But such as Rocket League, until we get it viable, it's going to be harder and harder to get franchise.
I mean, G2 leaving, T1 not coming back. There's only one thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, and then you also have, BDS leaving, which they won Worlds last year. Again,
they've won Worlds 2 of the last 3 years, and they won Gamers 8 this year.
And yeah,
and still not viable.
Obviously, there's a problem. Something needs to be done. I still have hope. Hopefully, it's not turned into cope. We'll find out. Moving on, we have some players stepping down from professional Rocket League. Chauset, for those of the OGs,
the Airbus,
the RLCS community, the Airbus. He has officially stepped down from kind of professional Rocket League. It is sad to see him go, but everyone's got to go eventually.
The first ceiling dash.
Yeah, the first of many. Chauncet, a very, one of the players that really brought the scene to light with the public. So sad to see him go. Hopefully, we'll see him still just hanging out in the community. Maybe maybe a coaching aspect later. Go with the true retirement route. We'll see. On the other end of the age spectrum here, Space Station Gaming officially signed the former Snowman roster of Frosty, Scribbles, Reveal, with their coach being X-Bear. Dangerous roster this coming season. I'm excited to see what they can produce. I believe this team is going to make a LAN event this coming season. They almost did last season. I think they can do it. They're kids, but they have been improving at a crazy rate. So I am expecting some big things from this team.
And they're going the Team Liquid route. They're sticking together. They're staying a team. They brought in X-Pair, who coached Team Liquid to a couple of LAN events. So I like the path that they're on. I think that I agree with you. I think they could be a scary team in NA this season.
Completely agree. And speaking of teams sticking together, the former C9 roster of Lion Blaze, Percy, and Zanil will plan to stick together for the 2025 season. They are still, however, orgless, but I don't think that will last very long. They always kind of sneak their way onto those the orgs that maybe haven't seen a lot of success but are still wanting to field a team. I don't expect them to drastically improve from their last season's performance. However, it would be nice to see. Maybe they come back to C9. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Another team that has been formed. It was kind of rumored earlier on by KCube, but JNaps, Eris, and Aqua will be forming a team. They are also still in talks with orgs. Nothing is finalized. At the moment, they are just JNaps, Eris, Aqua. I did also skip a couple things here on my list. Nolly and Kofer are set as a duo this season and still looking for a third, so I'm sure we'll hear some tryout rumors the next week or so regarding who that third man is going to be. And this one hurts because I didn't expect this to happen so soon. Arsenal, the father of the RC babies, announces his retirement from a competitive Rocket League. This kind of came out of the blue. I don't think anyone really expected it. Just one morning, we get a tweet from Arsenal saying he's retiring. And that a video will be coming out later. I don't think the video is out yet, or if it has, I haven't seen it. But man, it sucks to see a player like Arsenal leave. They were already a great energy to the community and to the scene. And they always had that that personality that every good league needs. So it's sad to see him go, but such is life. Moving on with another roster, this time going back across the pond. Fast Forward announces their roster for the 2025 season of Mike Boy, Compact, and It's Edgeby. Sorry if I butchered your name. And coach of O Potty. Curious to see how this team goes. Fast Forward has always been kind of one of those edge bubble teams where they'll make top 16 and then they may pull off one upset or two upsets across the entire season. Curious to see how this roster performs. And finally, this one just got announced pretty much right before we started recording this. Gen G has signed the former LG roster of Reddles, Magic Bear, Cheese, and their coach, Raw Greg. Great to see the guys sticking together and finally getting their way into org. I couldn't think of a more deserving team to get signed to Gen G. Especially, great pickup by Gen G. Reddles has a fantastic Twitch. He brings in a lot of viewers with his streaming. Raw Greg is a fantastic coach. I would love to see the former casting duo also get maybe some Gen G contracts, get those guys back in there.
I was going to ask about that. Do they keep Daz and the crew, or do they bring in the former LG boys, Spaceman and Achieves?
I would love to see maybe some working with
Corelli.
With the casters, but it is it would be tough to see them step away from their current casting crew. So hopefully this off season we see them find a home somewhere because they deserve one.
They certainly do.
But that is all I got for my roster rumors. That was a mouthful. That was the most I think we've had in a while since the offseason has started. And wow, yeah. I mean, any comments from UK Cube on what all has occurred so far?
I mean, based on the current landscape of RLCS, it's not super surprising that T1 has
I think I lost you again.
oh.
I did lose you.
Oh.
Oh, you're back. I hear you.
Okay.
Well,
So it's not surprising that T1 has ended their pursuit of a Rocket League roster, in my personal opinion. Based on the current, all the org tweets, G2 leaving, BDS leaving, it makes sense. C9 fielding a roster also unfortunately makes sense, even though we'd love to see them back in Rocket League, especially with Squishy as a part owner now. I can't say that I saw Arsenal retiring.
I don't think they saw Arsenal retiring. It wasn't leaked. It wasn't rumored. There was no talks about it until it happened. I mean, he did a fantastic job of keeping it under wraps. But man, it was not expected at all.
Yeah. I mean, I have a signed Arsenal poster that sits like just off camera over here that you can't see. I got a lot of Space Station merch. They were the first team that I started rooting for when Arsenal was there. I'm fairly confident. Actually, maybe not that he didn't. I don't think he signed the flag behind me, but that's one that hit home. I remember watching them for the first time on Space Station when they made Worlds in Vegas. That's a tough one for me, and the video is not out yet as of recording, but I will be very curious to see the reasoning if maybe there was something behind the scenes that we didn't know about, or maybe the love of the game is gone. Who knows? But that's one that I certainly did not see coming.
Yeah. On a side note here, a quick check back in with Arm the Rebels 2v2. First Killer LJ did end up taking game 3. However, Dan and Beast Mode come roaring back with a game 4 victory asterisk. It's actually did just victory. They did just FF game 4 with Dan and Beast Mode having a 3-goal lead. That means we are going to game 5 for the 2v2 Armed Rebel finals. Very interested to see how this turns out, as it looks like it's been very back and forth.
Yeah, it has been back and forth. Some of the goal totals seem weird, but you have to remember that it's 2v2, so there's going to be more goals naturally. So it's weird seeing sometimes like a 6-4 or 6-5 game, but who do you like here in this game 5 between First Killer LJ and Dan Beast Mode?
Yeah, I think I have to go against Dan and Beast Mode here. First Killer LJ have just looked strong the whole tournament. I see that duo winning it, although I could, this is definitely could be a very much a toss up just with how this series has gone.
Yeah, it certainly can. And I mean, I think that these, excluding their Chronic now is the third for First Killer LJ and Atomic for Beast Mode Daniel. I think these are the top 2 rosters in NA. I don't think it's close.
I agree. This is a battle of the Titans. In a 2v2 aspect, and with their thirds would have been a battle of Titans as well. I will say the First Killer LJ Chronic trio will definitely have something to prove, just because First Killer as of late has struggled to get results in a 3v3 aspect. So, they definitely have more of a chip on their shoulder to try to get something done. But again, I mean, G2 not making a roster change as they should, and I'm not surprised there. Especially with their worst result is second all season. So very excited to see RLCS 2025 get into gear and see those teams compete.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's tough, and you see BDS make a roster change immediately following their World Championship victory, and you see some of the EU teams are really loading up and talent with Vitality and Carmine Corps, and it's weird to see G2 not, or see NA not really making like up top at least, not making it a huge change for G2, but it makes sense. Like the consistency was there all season. They were one of the best teams in the world. They won a major. They just fell short in Fort Worth again, and I'm excited to see what they can do this year with another year under their belt, and more chemistry, and certainly more from potentially Atomic, who I'm sure feels probably pretty bad for the ghost hit that wasn't a hit, led to the World Championship winning goal for BDS.
Completely agree.
So I'm not sure if people have gathered this, but we are biding time until this game is over so that we can say who won. But currently we're halfway into the game and Daniel Beastmood are up 1-0. So that's over on CJ's Twitch if you are currently listening and want to follow along. But which roster move has, I don't know if surprise is necessarily the best word, but like caught your eye the most this offseason so far?
I still think probably the most mentionable is the first killer LJ duo, like Locke there. I thought the SSG roster with LJ, Hoxer, and why am I blanking on the third for them? Who was the third?
LJ, Hoxer.
Wow, what?
Oh my God, what is happening?
Hang on. Here we go. LJ. Let's just look at LJ real quick, and I'll just pull up his.
Holy cow!
Why am I linking?
Chicago.
Yes, thank you. Oh God, that hurts that I forgot Chicago. I'm sorry, Chicago. But I thought that team was in a very good place. I would have saw maybe like one roster change, but the fact that the whole roster blew up was definitely surprising to me. And then first killer LJ immediately pairing up. This felt like it was planned it had been planned for a while.
Yeah, they locked so fast.
It'll be, that is still arguably, I think, one of more, at least on the North American side, one of the biggest roster changes. Obviously, the Team Vitality juggernaut now is easily the biggest EU roster change to occur. The fact that Monkey Moon leaves and goes and gets teamed up with Zen and brings along his former BDS team of Exotic. I mean, Jesus, it's terrifying.
The rich get richer.
The rich get richer, honestly. As an NA fan, I am terrified.
But as a fan of Ball, I am excited to see what happens. EU is going to be a bloodbath, man.
As a Ball enjoyer, we are back.
Because I think that we see a top 2 there, and then I think that there's going to be quite the battle for those last 2 world spots, and then I think we'll see a lot of noise from the last chance qual as first killer ties it up with 27 seconds left. That was a great shot.
Oh no, I get hit with an ad. Are you kidding me? No.
That's rough. It's a 3-minute ad too.
Pull it up on Chrome. We're good. We avoid the ads. Oh no, it tracked me. No. No.
We see certainly the rich get richer in EU. The Titans are at the gates. Beast mode puts Dan mode ahead 2-1 with 11 seconds left. This will be over momentarily, and we can give our final thoughts on this. But really, I guess at the end of the day, the biggest thing is we're just excited for RLCS to come back. I'm excited to see what these new teams are. I'm excited to see how everybody performs, and I can't wait for another season to be upon us.
I completely agree. And with the final seconds here, Beast mode looking to dribble it down, and my ad refreshed again, so I'm assuming it's on the ground.
It is on the ground, and it is over. Daniel Beast mode take down first killer LJ in game 5 2-1 to become your Arm the Rebels 5 North America, this time 2v2 champion instead of 1v1 champion. So congratulations to them, and I think that was a fantastic grand finals. I'm glad I went to 5, and I can't wait to see what happens in FIFA E and the other tournaments we got this offseason, and then in RLCS.
I agree. Yeah, got the itch is back. We need the pro scene back. It's time. Let's get this going.
It certainly is. But is there anything that you wanted to add about CRL, about roster rumors, about FIFA E, about Arm the Rebels, about anything RLCS related before we wrap up for today?
No, I think at this point I need a drink. My throat's dry. I've done as much talking as I want to at this point.
Fair. Well, with that, we would like to wrap up for this episode. We'd like to thank you so much for listening. We'd like to please remind you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out. Tell a friend, share the show, all that fun stuff. Check out our Twitch, which we're currently live streaming on right now, as we work towards affiliate. And check out our TikTok, our merch store. I added like 12 different colorways of the crew neck sweatshirt. I also added a embroidered dad hat similar to the RLCS World Championship hat that I'm currently wearing. And new items will be coming soon. And sorry, Alyssa. Join in right when it's over. Yeah, well, maybe next time. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.